from a young age. My words have had the force of law. My master, seeing my extraordinary talent, took me in as his only disciple. We lived in seclusion in the mountains, keeping demons in check and safeguarding the nation's fate. My mom, worried I'd become completely detached from the real world, insisted on arranging a marriage for me. The guy was the whole package, handsome, a rising star in the business world, and the richest man in the region. Because I was traveling from so far away, I only made it to the venue on the day of the wedding. I was just about to head to the dressing room to change into my traditional wedding gown for the ceremony. But my future sister-in-law, already in a Western-style wedding dress, blocked my path, radiating hostility. You won't be needed for the ceremony. Do you really think you're worthy of standing next to my brother? I fought to keep my anger in check and shot back. I'm the bride. If I don't go up there, are you planning to? She sneered. That's right, I'm taking your place. Only a true lady like me is worthy of standing with my brother. Why don't you go find a spot at the kids' table and hide for a while? You can come out after the ceremony is over. I was speechless. I pulled out my phone and called my fiancé. Your sister just told me to go sit at the kids' table. Are you going to do something about this? I didn't want to make a scene. If he handled it properly, I was willing to let it go. But the voice that came through the phone was dripping with contempt. Whatever Chloe wants, I want. What's all the fuss about? Mr. Chu, I came all this way to marry you. I'd say that shows my commitment, wouldn't you? Now your sister wants to take my place in the wedding ceremony, and you're saying her wish is your command? Have you two been watching a little too much Game of Thrones? Chloe is my adopted sister, so you can drop the disgusting accusations. Now go to the kids' table. That's an order. Then, before I could even respond, he hung up. I was stunned. Are all big shot CEOs in the real world this full of themselves? Beside me, Chloe's face was a mask of smug triumph. You know what this is called? It's called bringing shame upon yourself. Marrying my brother, marrying into the Chu family of Shijing. It's the kind of blessing you couldn't dream of in 100 lifetimes. You should be grateful for my arrangements, not defiant. You're just being difficult. Faced with Chloe's provocation, I gave her a cold stare. If I let you take my place at my own wedding, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. I don't care what you two have planned. I'm going up on that stage today. With that, I pushed past her, trying to get to the dressing room. But Chloe grabbed my arm. In Shijing, my brother is the king, and his word is law. You're not going anywhere. If you don't want to sit at the kids' table, then get the hell out. Her disrespectful tone made my expression turn even colder. A mere businessman, daring to talk like an emperor? Do you really think you have the standing for that? My words completely enraged Chloe. She shrieked, You country hick, how dare you speak to me like that? If you don't do as you're told, I'll have someone tear your mouth apart, you hear me? Crushing you would be as easy as crushing an ant. And don't think for a second my brother would blame me. Ever since I began my training with my master, I've only appeared in public to represent my school at high-level state ceremonies. I've met plenty of powerful people, but I've never seen anyone as arrogant as her. Chloe's audacity ignited my own anger. I asked scornfully, You think you have what it takes? The moment I said it, a murmur went through the crowd of guests. This girl has no idea what's good for her. Daring to offend Chloe Chu? Everyone in Shijing knows that offending her is the same as offending Leo Chu. And offending Leo is a death sentence. Exactly. Sitting at the kids' table is a lot better than ending up dead. Besides, marrying into the Chu family is like winning the lottery. She's a fool for not appreciating this opportunity. Totally. Even being a janitor for the Chu family would be a huge honor. The fact that they're letting her marry in is an incredible gift. Why is she getting so hung up on who participates in the ceremony? Their fawning and biased comments only fueled Chloe's arrogance. You see that, you little hick? Scared now? My brother is only marrying you to bring some good luck to our grandfather. You're just a tool. The fact you even thought you could be in the ceremony shows how clueless you are. She let out a loud, mocking laugh, and the crowd eagerly joined in. I had no time to waste on these idiots. I repeated my demand. Look, cheap shot sister-in-law. First, I'm not sitting at the kids' table. Second, I'm participating in the ceremony. Now stop wasting my time. Let go of me, and get out of my way. Did you just insult me? My words pushed Chloe over the edge. She raised her hand to slap me. I whispered, freeze, and her hand stopped dead in midair. Heh, a proper lady acts like this? You seem more like a rabid dog to me. Chloe was furious. Let me go. You damn hick. Don't think you can get away with this just because you know a little backwoods hocus pocus. Hearing that, I smiled and said another word, mute. Instantly, Chloe's mouth flapped open and shut, but no sound came out. I didn't punish her more severely, not out of respect for the Chu family, but out of respect for my master. Before I left the mountain, he warned me repeatedly. On the mountain, when you're fighting demons and protecting the nation's fate, you can be as ruthless as necessary. But when you enter the secular world, you must restrain yourself. Don't get caught up in squabbles with ordinary people. Besides, the special authorization for lethal force I'd been granted had a very limited quota this year, and I didn't want to waste it on trash like this. Chloe was struggling so hard against my spell that her internal energy was faltering, and she was on the verge of collapse. Just as it looked like she might kill herself from the effort, several chairs from across the room suddenly flew into the air and came hurtling toward me. I knew someone else had used magic. I dodged them easily and looked up to see a tall, imposing man standing in the doorway, his brow furrowed in anger. The man quickly walked over to Chloe and pulled her into his arms. Chloe, stop fighting it. You'll sever your own meridians. At his words, Chloe immediately stopped struggling. He then looked at me. Release her from your spell, and I'll forgive your insolence today. I didn't answer, thinking to myself, so this must be my fiancé Liu Chu? My mom sure knows how to pick them. He was tall and well-built, with a handsome face that was both refined and masculine. The man was definitely easy on the eyes. After I'd had my fill, I decided not to let things get too ugly. I said crisply, release and let Chloe go. I walked over to him and said formally, Mr. Chu, hello. My name is Lexi and I am a disciple of I don't care who your master is. Leo cut me off. It's all just some back alley hocus pocus, nothing compared to the true and orthodox magic of the Chu family. I couldn't believe my ears. Someone had the audacity to call their magic the true lineage in front of me? I was my master's sole heir, his partner in protecting the fate of the nation. To be publicly dismissed by my own fiancé today, it was beyond infuriating. I immediately shot back, Mr. Chu, we're about to be husband and wife. Don't you think you could be a little less harsh? Besides, who gets to decide what's the true lineage and what isn't? That's not something you can just declare for yourself, is it? Hearing my words, Leo gave a derisive laugh. Me harsh? Listen up. The Chu family has been a powerhouse in Shijing for 100 years. Our magic is powerful, our lineage is clear. How could a country bumpkin like you even compare? He gave me a disdainful look, scanning me from head to toe, before continuing. The only reason I'm marrying you is because of your auspicious birth chart. It's meant to bring my grandfather good fortune and help him live longer. You'd better learn your place. He deliberately raised his voice for the last part, shaming me in front of everyone. And remember this. You are nothing more than a decoration I'm bringing into this house. Don't ever think you'll have the right to be part of my family, and don't even dream of having my children to elevate your status. I will not allow someone of your low standing to taint the Chu family bloodline. After listening to Leo's long-winded tirade, I was furious. But I told myself it was pointless to argue with these people. In a calm voice, I said, if that's how you feel, then I think we're done here. The wedding's off. I'm a busy woman anyway. See you around. As I spoke, I turned to walk away, wanting to leave this toxic place and avoid any more trouble. But Leo, this spoiled brat, completely misunderstood my intentions. He thought I was playing hard to get. Country girl, do you really think I'll beg you to stay if you walk away? You seriously overestimate yourself. In Shijing, no, in the entire country, if I just gave the word, women from the wealthiest and most powerful families would be lining up at my door, waiting for me to choose them. His shameless boasting was so absurd I actually laughed. Mr. Chu, a little confidence is a good thing, but this much is just suicidal. I'd advise you not to overextend yourself. You might just pull something. As I said this, my killing intent flared, and another wave of murmurs swept through the room. Wow, You might survive defying heaven, but you'll never survive defying the Chu family. What is this girl on, talking to Liu Chu like that? Humph, what a stupid, clueless woman. Every woman in Xijing wants to marry Liu Chu. A plain girl like her isn't even worthy of shining his shoes. Exactly. If it were me, I'd be on my knees begging for his forgiveness by now. Marrying into the Chu family is a dream come true. I ignored their chattering. The Chu family was rich, powerful, and skilled in the arcane arts, making them a top-tier clan. But as the old saying goes, the rich don't fight the officials, and the officials don't fight the heavens. My master and I act on behalf of the heavens, which puts us far beyond the reach of some wealthy family. I thought about how Leo's parents had practically begged my master, pleading with him on their knees to approve this marriage. It made me feel sorry for them. They had worked so hard to secure this path to greater power, only for their arrogant and disrespectful son to ruin it all. Seeing my distant gaze, Leo sneered again. Having second thoughts? If you are, get on your knees and apologize to my sister Chloe. Then I'll consider forgiving you. I gave him a look like he was a complete idiot. I was just wondering whether to take a train or a plane home. Don't be so full of yourself. It's too late for you to kneel to me now. This wedding is off, and that's final. My firm stance caught Leo off guard. He just stood there for a few seconds, a look of confusion on his face. Chloe, having recovered, sidled up to him and said sweetly, "Brother, if Mom and Dad knew how improper this country girl was, they wouldn't have agreed to you marrying her either. Just let her go." Leo nodded mechanically, then frowned. "But Mom and Dad arranged this marriage personally. They aren't here yet. I can't just let her leave." Chloe stomped her foot in frustration. "Brother, after all these years, you still don't know how I feel about you? We grew up together. I've been the one by your side, supporting you all this time. Haven't you ever thought about me being your bride? Why do you need to keep this country girl around?" Chloe's sudden confession seemed to daze Leo for a moment. When he came to his senses, their eyes met and locked. After their little lovey-dovey exchange, Leo turned to her and said gently, "Chloe, you're right. Compared to this girl from the mountains, you are much more suited to be by my side as my bride." At Leo's response, Chloe's eyes filled with tears of joy, sparkling like stars. I had zero interest in their trashy soap opera drama. I couldn't stand it anymore and cut them off. Hey, if you two want to act, go audition for a reality show. Stop being so sappy here. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving." Just as I was about to step away, Leo called out to me again. "Country girl, don't go running your mouth about the Chu family. I won't owe you anything. I'll reimburse you for your travel expenses, and even throw in a big bonus to shut that filthy mouth of yours." I couldn't help but laugh out loud. No need for travel expenses or a bonus. But if you're really determined to throw some money around, how about you compensate me for my wasted time? Leo snorted, waved over an assistant, took a checkbook, and carelessly tore out a sheet, handing it to me. "Here, a blank check. Take the money and get lost." I took the check, pulled out a pen, wrote down an amount, and shoved it back in his face. "This is what my wasted time costs. Is your allowance big enough to cover it? Or should you ask your dad?" Leo stared at the long string of zeros I'd written, counted them twice, and then exclaimed, "Are you insane? You're asking me for $1 billion? I nodded nonchalantly. "That's just for my time. I already waived the travel fee." Leo just scoffed. "You're just some fortune teller with a lucky birth chart. Your entire life isn't worth that much." "On what grounds?" I answered coldly, "My life isn't for sale. I don't charge a dime for official business, but this is my price for private matters. If you don't have the money, don't pretend to be a big shot." My words sent Leo into a rage. The entire hall fell silent. He used his telekinetic power again, and the crystal chandelier above shattered, sending countless sharp shards of glass hovering in the air, all pointed at me. This is Xijing. This is Chu family territory. Forget about a back alley hustler like you. Not even a provincial governor would dare speak to me like this. Do you have a death wish? I struggled to resist the urge to use up my entire lethal force quota for the year. I replied sternly, "Mr. Chu, let me remind you. I am not someone you can threaten lightly. You've picked a fight with the wrong person. This is a mess you, as a spoiled rich kid, can't handle. This time, Before Leo could respond, Chloe jumped in. That street hustler talk might work on ordinary people, but you picked the wrong place to act tough. You're no wrong person to mess with. I nodded slightly, controlling my expression, and said calmly, you're just a parasite hiding behind someone else's power. You're just some damn adopted daughter. You'd better get out of my sight. I'm speaking with Leo Chu. Whether you're the Chu family's pet or their poultry, you have no right to participate. Chloe's face flushed red with anger, and she trembled, speechless. Naturally, Leo had to play the hero. He stepped in front of her. Country girl, are you tired of living? Apologize to Chloe right now, or I'll turn you into a human pincushion. I looked at Leo's twisted face, sighed softly, and pulled out my phone to call my master. Hey master. I've run into a little situation here. My master's lazy voice came through the phone. What kind of situation could you possibly have? Did someone at the wedding actually recognize me? Given your new family status, none of the guests should know who I am. I pouted and replied glumly, no one recognizes you, and no one recognizes me. They're calling us charlatans and back alley hustlers. And they want to kill me. What? My master asked in disbelief. What about your fiancé? Isn't he protecting you? He's the one who wants to kill me, I said with a sigh. My master chuckled, just as frustrated as I was. He then told me to hand the phone to Leo. But before I could even extend my hand, Chloe snatched the phone away. So you're this country girl's master? Well, get ready to collect your disciple's corpse. Who is this? My master asked, confused. I am the second lady of the Chu family of Shijing. If you know what's good for you, hang up and go find a mountain to hide on. If I'm in a bad mood one day, I'll make sure to hunt you down and kill you too, so your whole pathetic line is completely wiped out. Oh, okay then. Mississippi Chu, whatever your name is, could you give the phone back to my disciple? I need to have a word with her, my master said, trying to stifle his laughter. I took the phone back. My usually fiery master's tone had completely changed. It's been decades since anyone's talked to me like that. You know what? Why don't you just use up your quota for the year today? A family like the Chus doesn't really need to exist anymore. I smirked. Are you sure? That girl's got a nasty temper. She said she's going to kill me too. If I'm not sure, what am I going to do when she comes looking for me? Send me your coordinates later. I'll treat her to a barbecue, my master said nonchalantly. That's so cruel, I said with a grin. The last person who talked to me like that was some demon lord from Japan. Who does she think she is? With that, before I could reply, the line went dead. A moment later, I sent my location to my master. Just as I finished, a fleet of more than a dozen luxury cars pulled up outside. A group of people got out, led by a crabby-looking old man. The moment Leo and Chloe saw the old man, their expressions changed completely. They rushed over, all smiles. Grandfather, what are you doing here? It's just a wedding to some country girl. Why are you giving her so much of your attention? The arrogant old man pursed his lips. She's the girl who's supposed to bring me good fortune. I have to inspect the goods, don't I? At his words, all eyes in the room turned to me. I smiled calmly, walked slowly toward him, and fearing he might be hard of hearing, said loudly, Sir, the wedding between your grandson and me is off. As for your good fortune, you can find someone else. This girl is out. Hearing this, the old man sneered. I've seen plenty of women from your low background. Are you trying to ask for more money? Or a house? The Chu family has plenty of money. Don't play these pathetic poor people games. Just spit it out. I couldn't help but grin at his words. This arrogance was clearly hereditary. I quickly replied, I'm not interested in your dirty money, so save it, you grumpy old man. Seeing me talk back to her grandfather, Chloe immediately jumped in to defend him. You filthy country girl. How dare you disrespect the most esteemed grandfather of the Chu family? You must really be tired of living. Turning her head, she yelled frantically at Leo, brother, kill this woman. Avenge grandfather's honor. Just as Leo was about to make a move, the old man turned, his expression severe. Don't. Killing a worthless woman who doesn't know her place like this would be letting her off too easy. Men drag her away. First, break her arms and legs. Then find a few strong guys to teach her how to be a woman and follow the rules. After that, ship her off to some third-world country tomorrow morning to be a breeding machine. Let her suffer for the rest of her life. Hearing his grandfather's vicious plan, Leo's face lit up. He lowered his magic and gave a thumbs up. Grandfather, you're truly brilliant. As the old man spat out his plan, another wave of shock went through the hall. This girl is so pitiful. One moment of recklessness, a lifetime of misery. Well, she didn't appreciate the opportunity. Even a dog in the Chu family has a better life than her. Old Mr. Chu hasn't made a public appearance in years. It looks like he's going to make an example out of this girl. Before the murmurs had even died down, several large, burly bodyguards were already walking toward me. I held up a hand to stop them and looked at the Chu family. Can I make one more phone call? Leo and Chloe both looked to their grandfather. The old man gave a wicked grin. A cat plays with a mouse before it kills it. Go ahead, make your call. Let's see what tricks a little girl like you can pull. I ignored him, took out my phone and dialed Leo's father, Walter Chu. Walter, your father and son are about to have me crippled and sold off to a foreign country. Your Chu family is really something else. On the other end of the line, Walter Chu's voice was tinged with panic and trembled as he spoke. Mississippi Lynn, I'm on my way right now. Please calm down. Just 10 minutes. No, 5. I'll be there in 5 minutes, I promise. I'm afraid I can't wait that long, I said, mimicking the Chu family's arrogant tone. If it's convenient, please put my son on the phone. I need to speak with him, Walter said nervously. No, I replied curtly. Someone might snatch my phone. How about I put you on speaker? Yes, whatever you want, Walter said respectfully. I immediately switched to speakerphone, and Walter Chu's voice filled the room. This is Walter Chu. Until I arrive, no one is to show any disrespect to Mississippi Lynn. Otherwise, don't blame me for what happens. Everyone in the room heard Walter's words clearly, and a buzz of confusion erupted. Is this for real? The head of the Chu Corporation is personally protecting her? Who is this country girl? I don't know, but judging by the chairman's tone, there's more to this than meets the eye. Yet even after hearing his words, the old man and his 2 followers, Leo and Chloe, remained dismissive. Leo even took a step forward and said mockingly, Lexi, save your little street magic tricks. If you're going to get someone to impersonate my father, at least find someone who sounds convincing. His voice is shaking. You think I'm going to believe that? Or maybe your father is smarter than you and knows there are some people you don't mess with, and that's why he's shaking? I said, glaring at him. My question seemed to make Leo hesitate, but he doubled down. Whatever. I don't believe you. Men, seize her. He waved his hand, and a dozen bodyguards lunged at me. From their movements, it was clear they were no ordinary men. Their training wasn't easy to come by, and I had no interest in wasting it on a bunch of grunts. So, I revealed the black tortoise token from my waist. The moment the bodyguards saw the token, they all stumbled back, not daring to come closer. Leo, also being part of that world, looked equally unsettled. Someone in the crowd even identified my background. The black tortoise token, acting on behalf of heaven, with special powers, authorized to kill first and report later. I can't believe she's so young and already has a direct line to the High Council. Only the brain-dead Chloe remained clueless. She had somehow gotten a knife and was rushing at me, only to be sent flying by a kick from Walter Chu, who had just arrived. Mississippi Lynn, I'm late. Walter Chu gasped, out of breath as he reached me. I've failed to control my family, and they have offended you. I am so sorry. Despite his deep bow, my face remained an emotionless mask. I said coldly, Walter, I'm afraid your family can't be saved today. You should get your affairs in order. Hearing my words, Walter's face turned paler than if his own father had died. He spun around and slapped his son across the face, looking like he was about to hit his own father next. You disastrous child. Do you have any idea what kind of trouble you've caused? Leo replied defiantly, Dad. Why did you hit me? So what if she has a black tortoise token? We have connections in the capital too. Why are you so afraid of her? Walter was trembling with rage. He slapped Leo again twice. You beast, shut your mouth. Now get on your knees with me and apologize to Mississippi Lynn. Walter's words stunned Leo, the old man, and everyone else present. Chloe, who had just gotten back up, clutching her side where she'd been kicked, was especially agitated. She rushed to Walter and demanded, "Dad, why did you hit my brother? And why should we kneel and apologize to this country girl? So what if she has some connections? Can she really destroy our entire family?" The old man added fuel to the fire. "Walter, you're getting more cowardly with age. You're worse than an old man like me. A stupid piece of metal has you this terrified?" The crowd also began to side with Chloe and the old man. Walter looked at the clueless faces around him and gave a bitter smile. He was about to say something else to me, to plead his case, but he met my icy gaze. He shut his mouth, turned around, and unleashed his fury on Chloe, the old man, and the rest of the crowd. "You people know nothing. You, Chloe, get out of the Chu family right now. If I see you in Shijing again, I'll have your limbs cut off and feed you to the dogs. And you, Dad, now is not the time to act all high and mighty. You're the one who spoiled these kids rotten. And all of you, anyone who said a bad word about Mississippi Lynn, come over here and kowtow to her right now. If I find out later who you are, don't blame me for being ruthless." After his tirade, he once again approached me with a fawning expression, clearly trying to get back in my good graces. But his idiotic son, ever the troublemaker, stopped him again. "Dad, you can't kick Chloe out. I won't marry this country girl. I want to marry Chloe. We already decided. Before you got here, I was nice enough to offer to pay her travel expenses, but she went crazy and demanded $1 billion. I thought she was asking for spirit money, so I could burn it for her after she was dead." Hearing Leo's words, a look of terror crossed Walter's face. I, however, remained completely impassive. This spoiled brat still had no idea what weight the words I'd said to him carried. He understood even less that I represented the High Council, an entity that could not be offended under any circumstances. This time, Walter didn't bother scolding his foolish son. He just patted Leo on the shoulder, pushed him aside, and walked up to me, saying seriously, "Mississippi Lynn, I'll pay the $1 billion. I'm begging you, please spare the Chu family." I smiled faintly and waved my hand. "Walter, it's too late for that now. Honestly, your family has been way too high profile in Shijing. I was originally going to use this marriage as an opportunity to help you rein things in, keep a lower profile. But your son has thrown that chance away. Ordinary people can be arrogant, and the High Council can be arrogant, but you people cannot. And you certainly can't be lawlessly arrogant." Hearing my lecture, Walter's face grew even paler. He dropped to his knees with a thud. "Mississippi Lynn, I failed to raise my son properly, and I failed to manage my household. If you are willing to show mercy, the Chu family will follow your lead from now on." I sneered. "A family that has failed at this and failed at that. What good would it do me to have you follow my lead?" Unexpectedly, at my words, Walter stood back up, his expression turning much prouder. He called Leo over and began to lecture him. But his words were clearly meant for me. "Son, your father wasn't just groveling. I was trying to resolve this with the least amount of trouble. But some people don't know when to quit, so now I can't afford to be polite anymore." He then looked at me. "Mississippi Lynn, I haven't survived in Shijing all these years for nothing. I have friends who also carry a black tortoise token, just like you. And he's on his way." I lifted my head to meet his gaze and said nonchalantly, "What? You're going to call someone to kill me? What? And I can't?" Before my words even faded, a distinguished-looking middle-aged man strode confidently into the room. When Walter Chu saw him, it was as if he had found his last hope. He hurried over to greet him. "Brother Shen, you're finally here. This young woman has gone too far, threatening to wipe out my entire family." The middle-aged man, Shen, glanced at me out of the corner of his eye and said suspiciously, "Where is your black tortoise token? Do you dare show it to me?" "Why should I?" I retorted. Mr. Shen snorted. "Because of this." As he spoke, the weather outside instantly changed. The clear, cloudless sky was suddenly covered with dark, ominous clouds. "And?" I asked, unfazed. Mr. Shen looked slightly surprised. "Young lady, you don't know what I'm about to do?" I shook my head. "I know. You can summon heavenly lightning." "So what?" "So what?" Mr. Shen said, astonished. "It means you will die without a doubt. Why don't you give it a try?" I challenged. At that moment, Leo jumped in. Uncle Shen, strike this insolent country girl down. The Chu family will take full responsibility for whatever happens. Mr. Shen still seemed to be hesitating. Seeing his indecisiveness, I found it amusing and casually tossed him my black tortoise token to inspect. After examining my token, his face immediately darkened. This token is a fake. You are not an agent of the heavens. My token had apparently erased his last shred of doubt. He immediately unleashed his power, summoning a bolt of heavenly lightning. But after the lightning entered the room, it didn't strike me. Instead, it shot toward Chloe. She had no time to dodge and was instantly turned to ash. What did you do? Mr. Shen looked at me in terror. I gave him a playful smile. Old Shen, you treat that black tortoise token like a treasure, but to me, it's just an ordinary object. I lost my old one, so I just made myself a new one. Who are you? Shen's eyes were filled with fear. When you first started, the old-timers at the High Council must have told you, right? About a certain master who lives in seclusion in the mountains, protecting the nation's fate. He's my master, I replied casually. Hearing my words, Shen's expression changed dramatically. He clasped his hands together in a gesture of respect. I was blind to your greatness. Please forgive my ignorance. I smirked. I get it. Everyone has friends. But Walter Chu calls you. And you come running to back him up. If he asked you to help him bully people, would you do that too? You're not keeping that black tortoise token. If you don't want to be dealt with here and now, you should leave. Go home and wait for the official notice. Shen nodded with a pained expression, not daring to stay a moment longer. He gave me another respectful gesture and scurried away. At this point, Walter Chu was completely desperate. His phone began to blow up with notifications. There were messages about accounting discrepancies in his company, notices of impending investigations for violations, alerts that a special investigation team from the High Council was on its way to his firm, and texts from partners cutting all ties. In short, it was a flood of messages, all of them bad news. Leo snatched his father's phone, scrolled through all the messages, and then looked at me in disbelief. How can you have so much power? Because I have a direct line to the heavens, and you don't, I replied calmly. Hearing our exchange, Walter Chu, who had finally processed everything, exploded again. He lunged at Leo, punching and kicking him. You cursed star. You've destroyed generations of our family's hard work. I begged and pleaded to get Mississippi Lin to agree to marry into our family. But you? Not only did you fail to see the marriage through, you humiliated her. Now everything is gone. Are you happy now? After Walter's near-total breakdown, Leo finally seemed to understand. He looked at his father in panic and asked, Dad, what do we do now? Walter replied dejectedly, we leave it to fate. The old man, probably trying to score some points, punched Leo in the back of the head, then pointed to the charred human-shaped mark on the floor where Chloe had been. You idiot, being a rich kid has made you stupid. She can kill us whenever she wants. That's your warning right there. At his grandfather's words, the once invincible Leo Chu completely broke down. He fell to his knees before me, sobbing. Mississippi Lin, I was wrong. I was a snob who judged you unfairly. I'll never do it again. Please just let me go. How about this? I'll be your boy toy. I don't need any status, just let me live. I raised an eyebrow and smiled. Let me be clear. The Chu family was already on the list to be dealt with. The only reason they hadn't acted was because the High Council was doing me a favor. Now, I'm calling in that favor. But I won't be completely merciless. Of the three of you with the Chu name, one can live. Hearing my words, Leo shot up in a rage. You. What do you mean? You want us 3 generations to kill each other? That's such an ugly way to put it. Think of it as competing for survival, I corrected him. Then, mimicking Mr. Shen's technique, I casually waved my hand toward the sky. Outside, dark clouds instantly gathered, blotting out the sun. Seeing the oppressive sky, the 3 of them understood that their own power was no match for mine. They didn't stand a chance. In the end, it was Leo who was the most ruthless. He raised a hand and struck his grandfather. His father, in turn, struck him. The 3 of them fought for a full hour, until they each took a final blow and collapsed together. The 2 older men died on the spot. Only Leo, being the youngest and most powerful, was left clinging to a breath of life. He struggled to crawl toward me, looking for a reward, but I used the last slot in my annual quota to finish him off. The many guests who had witnessed this grand drama were all left speechless. When I gave them the word to disperse, they scattered like frightened rabbits. The next day, the Chu Corporation was completely dismantled. Any Chu family members I hadn't dealt with personally were thrown in prison to rot for the rest of their lives. And just like that, the Chu family, which had terrorized Xijing for years, was wiped out by me in a single blow. The end.